Hi guys, this is Terry David here. Um, in this video, I'm going to go through the solutions to the 2024 SCA Maths paper. My daughter Anya actually worked out most of the questions, right, for me, right? So I'm going to run through the solutions here as quickly as I can with you guys, right? So the first question here, write the numeral for 230,563. So if it's 230,000, so that's 230,561, sorry, 563, right? So let me double check this. 230,000, right? 563, right? So this is what the numeral value is, right? It's question one. In question two here, we want to work out the value of this underlying digit, right? So this 5 here is actually in our thousand position. So this here has a value of 5,000, right? That's number two. Number three, we have a common factor of 15 and 18 is 1, right? What other factors common to 15 and 18? Now, remember, a factor is a number that can go into something. So, for example, if we have 15 here and we wanted to figure out all the factors of 15, 1 can go into 15, 3 can go into 15, 5 can go into 15, and 15 can go into 15, right? So 15 can be divided by all of these numbers here without leaving a remainder. If we check 18 now, right, factors of 18 would be 1, we have 2, 3 can go into 18 as well, 6 can go into 18, right, 9 can go into 18, and then 18 can go into 18. Now, if we look at this here, we realize that, okay, 1 is a factor that is common between both of them. But if we look again, we can see that 3 is also a factor that is common between both of them as well, right? So a common factor in this case here is going to be 3, right? So this one here, we're going to put 3. For this next one here, write one of the following symbols, right? So one of the following symbols in the box below to make the number sentence correct, right? So we have on this side here, we have 8,693, and this side we have 8,639. Now you will notice that both numbers start with 86. The only difference here, we have 93, and on this side we have 39. So this question is really trying to see if you know the difference between these two numbers here, right? So 8693 is actually more than 8639. So we're going to use a greater than sign inside of here, right? So that's number 4. Question 5, we have a division here to perform. So we have 9 to 7, and we are dividing that by 9, right? So in this case here, we can say 1, 9 is 9, right? And then 9 cannot go into 2, so we're going to put a 0 here. 9 into 27, we're going to get 3 here, right? So the answer is going to be 103. That's it, right? 103 is going to be the answer. For this next one here, we have to do a subtraction. So we have 7 minus 2/3, right? Now this here, right, this is 7 wholes we have here. So what I would do, I would break this up, and I can say this is 6, right? And to make up the 7, I will say, okay, we have 3 over 3, right? And the reason why I'm choosing our parts as 3 here is because we want to subtract 2/3, right? So that's 6 and 3 over 3 minus 2/3, right? So what that is allowing me to do is to take this here, this whole, which is 3 over 3, and we're going to subtract 2/3. So if you subtract that, you're going to end up with 1/3, right? So in this case here, my answer is going to be 6 and 1/3, right? This next one here, we want to write 0.4 as a fraction in its lowest terms. So 0.40, right? That's the same as saying 40 over 100, right? you can reduce this even further, right? So that's 4 over 10. And you can even reduce this even further because 2 can go into this 2 times, 2 can go into this 5 times. So this is going to be 2 over 5. So the answer is going to be 2/5, right? So that's number 7. Number 8, we have a multiplication here. That's 3.12 multiplied by 4. So 2 4s are 8, right? 1 4 is 4, and 3 4s are 12, right? But you have 2 decimal places here, so therefore it's going to be 12.48. So this answer here is 12.48, right? That's number 8. Number 9, we want to find 15% of 300. So that's the same as saying 15 over 100, that's 15%, multiplied by 300 over 1. So these 2 zeros here, they can cancel. And we just have to work out 15 multiplied by 3. So that's 15 multiplied by 3. That's 5 3s are 15. Right? So that's a 5 here. This is 1 here. 1 3 is 3 and 1 4. So this is going to give us 45. Right? So the answer is 45. Right? Then let's see what else we have here. Question 9. So an incomplete pattern. So we have a pattern here. 36, 28, 21, 15. Right? What we need to do, we need to see what is happening as we move from one number to the next. Right? So if you jump from 36 to 28, right, you are actually decreasing by 8, right? You're decreasing by 8 here, right? Now, when we jump from here to here, right, you're decreasing by 7, because when you go from 28 to 21, you're decreasing by 7. And then when I jump from here to here, you are actually decreasing by 6, right? So if you notice in the pattern, the number that we are decreasing by, it decreases by 1. So therefore, to figure out this next missing number here, we need to subtract 5, right? That's what you need to do. You need to subtract 5. So therefore, 15 minus 5, right, you're going to get 10. So that's the next number, or the missing number in this pattern here, right? For question 11, we want to measure the length of this pencil. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to read off what is this n here. So that looks like 1.5, and this looks like 9.5. So this is going to be 9.5 cm, right, minus 1.5, right? 5 take away 5 is 0. 9 take away 1 is 8. So therefore, I'm going to get 8 cm, right? So this is 8.0 centimeters. That's the answer there. Question 12. Aidan left home at 6:45 and he arrived at 7:25, right? How long does this journey take? So all we need to do here, we need to take 7:25, right? The 7:25 in the morning, that's AM, and you're going to subtract 6:45, right? Now we're trying to subtract time here. Now 25 minutes cannot take away 45 minutes, so we need to take a borrow from the 7 here, right? So you're going to end up with 6. But what you're really borrowing there is 60 minutes, right? So we have to take 60 and we're going to add that to 25. So you're going to get 85 minutes, right? So this here is actually 85 minutes in total that we are trying to subtract 45 from. So 5 take away 5 is going to give us 0, and 8 take away 4 is going to give us 4. So therefore it's 40 minutes. That's how long his journey is. Question 13, right? The shaded shape is shown on a 1 cm grid. So that means the area of each of these small square here is 1 cm squared. What is the area of the shape? So this question here, all we need to do, we need to count how many whole squares we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But then what you realize is that we have some squares that are half a squares. So this here, these two will make up 1. So that'll give me 17, right? And then these two here will make up another 1 here. So therefore, that is going to be 18. So the area of the shape, right, that we have here is going to be 18 centimeters squared, or 18 square centimeters, right? So that's question 13. Let's see. Question 14 now. We have 2 packs of sugar. One is 2.5 kg and one is 1600 kg. What's the difference? So if you want to work out the difference here, we need to, and they want the answer in grams, right? So what I'm going to do first thing, this 2.5, so 2.5 kg, right? If I want to convert that into grams, I'm going to multiply by 1,000. So that's 2.5 multiplied by 1,000, right? So that's going to give us 2,500. So that's the mass of the first bag. So now we're going to take 2,500 and we're going to minus 1,600, right? Right, so 0 here, right? 25 minus 16 is going to give me 9. So therefore, the mass of this thing here is, or the difference in mass is going to be 900 grams. That's it. Question 15, Jillian is standing at O and she faces northwest. So that means she's facing here, right? She makes quarter turns and is now facing southeast. So she's here, right? Now, what is the least number of turns that can be made by Jillian? Now we're looking at quarter turns, right? So if I go from here to here, that's a quarter turn, right? That's a 90-degree angle. And if she makes another 90-degree here, you're going to end up southeast, right? So they said, what's the least number of turns that she can do this? It'll be 2. Even if we were to go in the opposite direction, it's still going to be 2 quarter turns in order to make this, right? So the answer is 2. Question 16, how many vertices does this solid have, right? So this is a triangular based prism. And in terms of vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the answer is simply going to be 6, right? So for this next one here, we want to draw all the lines of symmetry. So this is a letter H here, right? So if we fold the paper along, let's say this line here, that's a line of symmetry, right? We can also fold the paper along this line here. That's another line of symmetry. So there are only 2 lines of symmetry for this particular question, right? Question 18, the mean of 3 numbers is 12. 2 of the numbers are 10 and 11, right? What's the third number? All right, so we have the mean is 12 and it's 3 numbers. So therefore, we can work out the sum of all the numbers. All we need to do is to take the mean, which is 12, right? And you have 3 numbers, so you're going to multiply by 3. So the sum of all the numbers will be 36. Now they told us that 2 of the numbers are 10 and 11. So if I take 10 plus 11, right, I'm going to get 21. So therefore, to figure out what the third number is, all I need to do is to take 36 and minus 21. That's it. So 6 minus 1 is 5. 3 take away 2 is 1. So the missing number here is 15. Question 19, the tally chart shows the types of gifts received. So you have bicycle, books, cell phones, and tablets. Which gift represents the mode? So the mode is that which occurs most frequently, right? That which occurs most frequently. That's what we're looking for here. So in terms of the tally, so this first one here is a 9. This one is a 6. This one is 5 3s are 15, 16, 17. And the last one is 5 3s are 15. So therefore, the one that occurs most frequently here, right, is going to be the cell phones, because that has a tally of 17, right? So the answer, you're not going to put 17, you're going to put cell phones, right? So that's the answer there. Question 20, we have a pictograph. So we have number of book bags and they have colors of the book bags. So red, black, blue, and brown. If 32 book bags are black, so let's go to black here, that's here, right? So this here represents 32, right? So therefore, 4 smiley faces, right, is equal to 32, right? So what I can do, I can figure out what is one smiley face, right? So one smiley face is simply going to be 32 divided by 4. That's going to give me 8. So I know what each smiley face represents. And what we want to work out now, we want to work out how many are blue. So in this case, you have 3 smiley faces. So therefore, for blue, all we need to do is to take 3 and multiply by the value of one face, which is 8. So you're going to get 24, right? Right, so that takes care of section 1. Moving on to section 2 now, we have 3/4 multiplied by 32 is equal to something squared minus 1. Now 3/4 by 32, this 4 can go into this 8 times, so 8 3s are 24, and that is equal to some number squared minus 1. Now, basically what this is saying is that once I square whatever this number is and I minus 1, I'm going to get 24. So therefore, that box squared should actually be equal to 25. And now you have to ask yourself, what number squared is going to give me 25, right? So the answer is simply going to be 5, right? So that box there represents 5, right? So that's 2 marks. This next one here. A packet of sweets is shared among 4 students. Each student received 15 sweets and there were 5 sweets remaining, right? What is the total number of sweets in the packet? So we have a pack of sweets and we're sharing it among 4 students. Each student received 15, right? So this here is going to be 15 multiplied by 4. That will give us the total number that is shared. So 5 4s are 20. 1 4 is 4 and 2 is 6, right? So that's a total of 60 sweets here that is shared equally among these 4 students. But they said there were 5 sweets remaining. So all we need to do is to take, make sure I'm saying this correct. Right, so total number of sweets here, we're going to take 60 and we're going to add that to 5, right? So therefore the total number of sweets that we have in a pack is going to be 65, right? So please remember to hit like and subscribe, guys, right? Please remember to hit like and subscribe. We have 2 fraction models, A and B, are shown on the grid below, right? Explain why the fraction models are equivalent fractions. So in this first one here, the first diagram, A, right? You realize that we have 2 equal parts. We have this here and we have this here. But you're only shading one part of it. So therefore, in that first model there, that actually represents a half. You have one part being shared, right? Shaded, sorry. In the second diagram now, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4 parts, but you're only shading 2 parts, right? So this is going to be 2 over 4, right? Which, if I reduce this here, that is equal to a half, right? So in both instances here, we are actually representing 1/2, right? So you can explain this in words, or we can use fractions like this. So the first diagram, it's 1 part out of 2 that is shaded. In the second diagram, you have 2 parts out of 4, right? Which is actually half the shape, right? Question 24, we have 2 fruit stalls sell mangoes, right, at a price shown below. So 9 mangoes cost $6. Sorry, I said that wrong. $9 for 6 mangoes, and the next one is $5 for 4 mangoes. What is the cheaper price of 36 mangoes? So if we go to stall A, right, and you want to buy 36 mangoes, right? So if you want 36 here, right, you're gonna basically multiply 9 by 36. So for stall E, it is going to be $9 multiplied by 6, because you're gonna have to buy 6 batches of 6 mangoes, right, to get the 36. So this is going to be 9 sixes are $54. So that's the price at stall A. At stall B now, we have 4 mangoes costing $5. So if you want to get 36, we're going to have to use 9, right? You're going to have to buy 9 batches. So that's going to be 9 multiplied by 5, and that's going to give me $45. So the question wants to know which stall has a cheaper price, right? So what is the cheaper price? So the cheaper price is going to be $45, right? And that's at stall B, right? That's what we're looking for here. Right? So this is 25. So to be honest, this paper, as far as I can tell, was way easier than the 2023 paper, right? This question here was probably the most difficult question in the entire paper, right? So here's what's happening here. They give us a number line, right? And they give us some fractions on the number line. 4 1/3, and we have 5 2/9. Now they said the length AC is actually 4 times the length BC. So this length here, from here to here, right, is actually, AC is 4 times that length. So that means you're dividing up that space AC into 4 equal parts, right? Because this here, right, is one length, right? And this here, they're telling us that this here is 4 times BC. So the first thing I would do, I'd figure out what is the length AC. So to get the length AC, what you're going to do, you're going to say, let's take 5 2/9 and subtract 4 1/2, right? That's the first thing we're going to do. So in this case here, it is going to be 5 2/9 minus 4 1/2, right? Now, how do we do that subtraction? So the first thing is this 1/3, I can write that as 3/9, right? So this here is actually 5 2/9, right, minus 3/9. Now the thing is, 2/9 cannot subtract 3/9. So we're going to have to take a little borrow here, right? So when you borrow from this, you're going to end up with 4, right? And since we're dealing in 9s here, this is actually going to become 11/9, right? This is going to become 11/9. So when you subtract this, right, you have 11/9 minus 3/9. So that's going to give me 8/9. So that spacing between A and C is 8/9, right? So if you want to get a length BC, right, right, so BC is actually a quarter of the 8/9, right? It's a quarter of the 8/9. So this 4 can go into this 2 times, so you're going to get 2/9, right? So that means that the length BC is 2/9. So if you want to figure out what B is, and this is where some students may have made a little mistake here, right? You want to figure out what is the position B here. So all you need to do is to take 5 2/9, right? That's this marker here. And you're going to subtract that length BC. So you're subtracting 2/9. So when you subtract that, you're going to get exactly 5, right? So that position B there is actually 5, right? So this is probably the most difficult question I saw on the entire paper, right? Most of the other questions were pretty straightforward. Question 26. We have an arch, and the arch is made using 280 balloons. For every 4 red balloons, 3 blue and 7 balloons were used, right? Right, so for every 4 red, right, so we have 4 red, we have 3 blue, and we have 7 green, right? So that's the combinations that they're using here, right? But the arch is made up of 280 balloons. How many blue balloons were used to make the arch, right? So what they're trying to tell us here, we're using batches of this, right? Now this here gives us a total of 4 and 3, 7 and 7. That's 14 balloons in total, right? That's 14 balloons here in total, right? Now if this represents one batch of balloons, we're going to take 280 and we're going to divide that by 14, right? 14 can go into 28 two times. So this is going to give us 20. So this set here is repeating 20 times. So if you want to figure out how many blue balloons we have, right? Blue appears 3 times. So therefore, this is going to be, so blue balloons, right? It's simply going to be 20 multiplied by 3. So that's going to give me 60 balloons, right? So that's going to be 60 blue balloons, right? I hope that kind of makes a little sense there, right? Right, Kai bought sets of jewelry containing rings and bracelets, right? So each set costs $25 and contained 3 more rings and bracelets. Kai spent a total of $300 and received 24 bracelets. So, right, so you have a set here, right? And in this set we have rings and we have bracelets, right? That's what we have in this set here, right? And each set costs $25, right? So this is $25 here, right? Now they said that he spent a total of $300, right? So what we can do, we can figure out the number of sets that he purchased. So number of sets, right? All we need to do to get that, we're going to take $300 and you're going to divide that by 25, right? Now, we have multiple ways we can work this out here. We can take 25 and see how many times it can go into 300, right? Or we can reduce them part by part. This could be divided by 5 times, and 5 can go into 36 times. So this here is going to be 60. So 60 divided by 5 is going to give me 12. So what's happening here is that we have 12 sets, right? So we have 12 sets of this jewelry that we're talking about here. Now the thing is, in the question they said that each set, right, it contains 3 more rings than bracelets, right? So let's say we had rings, 3 more rings than bracelets. Yeah. So let's say this represents bracelets, right? Let's say that represents bracelets. Then rings, right, will actually be this plus 3, right? Because they said the set contains 3 more rings than bracelets, right? So now, since we know we have 24 bracelets, right? So you receive a total of 24 bracelets, right? Let's see what we need to do here. Right? So since now remember we know we have 12 sets, right? And she actually received received 24 bracelets. So therefore, we need to figure out how many bracelets in one set, right? How many bracelets in one set? So all we need to do, we need to take 24 bracelets, right? And we're going to divide that by 12. So therefore, there's a total of 2 bracelets per set, right? So you have, right? So we have 2 bracelets per set, right? Now, if you know you have 2 bracelets per set, then the total number of rings, right? The total number of rings here is going to be 2 plus 3, right? 2 plus 3, and you're going to get 5, right? So in this case here, the answer is going to be 5 rings in each set, right? That's how much you're going to have here. So that's 27. Question 28, David has $150 to buy pencils and rulers. Explain how estimation can be used to determine whether or not he has enough money for 15 pencils and 15 rulers, right? So in the case of pencils, right, now they said estimation. So you have, it's costing us $1.84 for each pencil. So let's round that off, right? Let's round that off here to approximately $2. Right, so we're going to estimate this as $2. In the case of the rulers, right, again, we're going to estimate that here, right, as $8, right? So that's our estimate for these two things here. So you want to buy 15 pencils. So in terms of pencils, right? We're going to say 15 multiplied by $2, right? So that's going to give us $30, right? That's the estimated cost for purchasing 15 pencils. In the case of the rulers now, we have 15 as well. So this is going to be 15 multiplied by $8, right? And that's going to give us a total of, well, we need to multiply that, right? 15 by 8, that's 8 fives are 40. 1 8 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 120. So this here is $120, right? So in this case here, when you work out the total cost here, you're going to get a total cost of 150, right? Now remember, we kind of estimate this figure here, right? They said he has $150, right? And our estimated cost is $150. So we can see that yes, he is able to make that purchase, right? He's able to make that purchase, right? So that's 28. Question 29. A piece of wire is bent to form a rectangle. So you have a piece of wire, right? Now we're taking this wire to form a rectangle. Right? The width of the rectangle, so this here, the width is usually the shorter side. So that's 8 cm. Alright? And the length of the rectangle is 6 centimeters longer than the width. So therefore, this here is going to be 6 centimeters longer. So that's 8 plus 6. So that's going to give us 14 cm. Right? So that's the length of this rectangle here. Now they want you to say what is the length of the wire. Now the length of the wire, and this is where students may have gotten a little confused. Remember, you started off with a piece of wire and you bend the wire to form a rectangle. So that wire now has a particular length, right, which is actually equivalent to the perimeter of this thing here. So the perimeter, right, is actually going to be length plus width multiplied by 2. So that's 14 plus 8, and you're going to multiply that by 2. So this is going to be 14 plus 8, that's 22. And you're multiplying that by 2, and this is going to give me 44 cm, right? So that means that the length of the wire, the original wire, is going to be 44 centimeters, right? So that's 29. Question 30. Philip plays football every 3 days and cricket every 4 days. He played football and cricket on the 5th, right? So he played football and cricket on the 5th, right? So both events taking place on the same day, right? So football, right, is every 3 days, right? And cricket, right, is every 4 days, right? Now what they want here now, what will be the next date on which Philip, right, will play both cricket and football, right? So the first thing I would do here, right, I'll write out some more days in the month here. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I just writing out a few. Now, what we could do, right? So football is every 3 days, right? So this is going to be, so this is the first football here. So the next time you're going to play football is 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be F here, right? We're going to check 3 again. 1, 2, 3. So we have football here again, right? 1, 2, 3. We have football here again, right? Then we check 1, 2, 3. We have football here again. And then we have 1, 2, 3, football here again. So what I'm doing here, I'm marking all the positions where we have football. Then we're going to mark the positions where we're going to have cricket. So cricket is every 4 days. So we started off here on the 5th. So we're going to check 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is cricket. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is cricket again. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have cricket again. But you realize, wait a minute. On the 17th here, you have cricket and football lining up, right? So the answer is going to be the 17th, right? 17th of February. That's the answer we're looking for here. Right? So this is a common question that they like to bring. A box is packed with identical cubes as shown below. How many more cubes are needed to fill this thing completely, right? So the first thing we need to do, we need to figure out what is the total volume or how many cubes can fit into this thing, right? So to do that, we need to get some dimensions here. So the first thing I would do, I'll work out this length here, right? How many cubes could fit that way? So you have to count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cubes could fit that way, right? When we check this way, right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 cubes that could fit this way. And if we check upright now, right, we can fit a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes this way, right? So therefore the total number of cubes, so total right is going to be 6 by 8 by 4, right? So that's 6 8s are 48, so it's 48 by 4. So that 8 4s are 32, 4 4s are 16, and 3 is 19, so that's 192, right? So that's the total number of cubes that could fit into this thing here, right? So all we need to do now, we need to count to see what we have, right? So we got to be careful with this too. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? So I'm getting here a total of 19 cubes, right? So it's going to be 192, right, minus 19, right? So we can borrow 1 from this 9, this becomes 8, so this is 12, right? So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, so this is 3 here, right? And 8 take away 1 is going to give me 7, right? And this is going to give me a total of 173, right? So this is how many cubes that we need in order to fill this thing here, right? So that takes care of 31. Question 32. Mervyn started to tile a room at 8:40. He took 4 minutes to lay each tile. After he laid 30 tiles, he took a 45-minute break. Mervyn laid a total of 90 tiles. What time did he finish laying all the tiles, right? So he's starting here at 8:40 a.m., right? That's when he started. Now let's look at this scenario carefully. So he's taken 4 minutes for each tile. After he laid 30 tiles, right? So let's work out. The time for 30 tiles would be 30 multiplied by 4 minutes. So 0 by 4 is 0, 3 4s are 12. So that's an 120 minutes in order to lay these 30 tiles, right? Then he's going to take a 45-minute break. So we're going to add a 45 minutes to this, right? So when I add this up here, I'm going to get 165, right, minutes. So he took a break, right? Now they said he laid a total of 90 tiles, right? So after he laid 30, he's going to take a break. So let's work this out here. So after 30 tiles, he took a break, right? So this is a break here. And we know that break is going to be, how many minutes was this? 45, right? 45 minutes, right? So then he went back now, he lay a next 30 tiles. So he takes a break again, right? And that's a 45-minute break, right? So that's 60 tiles in total, right? And then he goes back tiling, and then he does another 30, right? So that's going to give us a total of 90 tiles here, right? So when he's doing these 90 tiles here, he's actually taking 2 breaks of 45 minutes each, right? Now we were already adding here, right? So let's see. So this, let me use a different color here. So to lay the 30 tiles, right, that's 120 minutes, right? Then he took a break, 45 minutes. So he laid 30 more tiles, so that's 120 minutes again, right? Then he takes a break, and then he lays 30 more tiles to make up the 90, So that's our next 120 minute here, right? So here's what we need to do. We need to add up all of those times here. So let's start. So the first one is 120. That's the lady first 30 tiles. Then he takes a break for 45 minutes. Then he goes back now, and that's 120, right? He takes a next break, and then he finally finishes the last 30 tiles here. So let's add up this here, and that will give us the total time that elapsed from when he started tiling. So 5 and 5 is 10. So this is 4 and 2, 6 and 1, 7, 8, 9, 9 and 4 is 13, 14, 15. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a total of 450 minutes. Right, that's a total of 450 minutes. Right, so what I would do now, I try to figure out how many hours is that. Right, that's what I would do. So I will take 450, right, minutes, and I'm going to divide that by 60 minutes, right, in order to figure out how many hours is this. So this 0 will cancel with this, right? 3 can go into this 2 times, right? And 3 can go into 45, 1, 5. That's 15, right? So 15 over 2 is actually 7.5. So this is 7.5, right? Now that's 7 hours and a half. We're going to add to this thing here. So 7 hours and a half is actually 7 hours. Half an hour is 30 minutes. So we're going to add this here. So he took 7.5 hours in order to complete this job here, right? So now, when I add 40 plus 30, I'm going to get 70 minutes, right? But the thing is, we can't write 70 minutes, right? Because 60 of that is an hour. So therefore, this is actually going to be 10 minutes here, and we're going to put the extra hour on that side here, right? So this is going to be 8 and 1, 9, 9 and 7 is 16, right? 9 and 7 is 16, right? But this here is in 24-hour time, right? So therefore, this here, we need to subtract 12 from the 16. So this is actually 4:10 p.m., right? That's the time we're looking for here, 4:10 p.m., right? So this one required a little more thinking as well, right? This one required a little more thinking as well, right? So you have to be comfortable with minutes and hours in order to do this question. So that's 32. Question 33. We have a diagram here, and we have a line of symmetry AB, and shade 2 squares to complete the symmetric shape, right? So we want shade two squares. So all you need to do here, guys, is to just shade this one and this one here, and that's it. That's all we need to do. And this shape here is now symmetrical, right? Question 34, we want to complete a hexagon, right? So when we're talking about a hexagon, we're talking about a 6-sided figure, right? 6 sides. Now, we want to complete this diagram here. We want to locate the point C, right? But we want to make sure we have 2 right angles. Right? You want 2 right angles. So the easiest way to do that, if you want to get 2 right angles, right? We can put our point C, right? So this is 1 right angle here already, right? That's 1. So we need to create a next one here, right? So if you want to get the point C, we could put C anywhere along this line actually, right? If I put C here, right? And I would to join this here, right? So how many sides we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 6-sided figure, right? And clearly I have 2 right angles, right? So this point C could be anywhere along this line. So there are multiple answers here actually, right? C could be anywhere along this line here, right? So it could be here, here, right? And any one of these positions here, right? So that's your hexagon we're talking about here. So that's question 34. Question 35, Olivia scored 86, 90, and 70 on 3 tests. She can earn a grade if a mean is at least 80, right? What is the lowest score that she can obtain in the 4th test to obtain a grade A? So, she does 3 tests, right? And if she can earn a grade A, if she means score, right? What's the lowest? All right, so we want to do a 4th test here, right? You want to do a 4th test. So if it's 4 tests, right, and to get a grade A, she need at least 80. All we're gonna do to get the sum, right, of all her scores, what we need to do, we need to take 80 and we need to multiply by 4, right? 8 fours are 32. So that means that she should have a total of 320 minimum in order to get this grade A, right? But we already know she made a 86, she made a 90, and she made a 70. So we should add up all of these here. So that's 6, right? So when we add all of this here, this is going to be 9 and 8 is 17. 17 and 7, right, is going to be 24. So this is going to be 246, right? Now the thing is, to get the grade A, she should have a sum of 320. So we're going to take 320 and you're going to minus 246, right? So we're going to take our borrows, right? So this here is going to be 31. This is 10 here. So 10 take away 6 is 4, right? And 31 minus 24, right, is going to be 7. So therefore, she needs to make a score of 74 minimum in that 4 test. Right, so that's 35. One more question in section 2 here. So the block graph shows the number of tickets sold at a school. So we have number of tickets here, right? So we have, if you understand the scale here, we have 5, we have 10. How many students scored at least 3 tickets, right? How many students scored at least 3 tickets, right? Now let me just check something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so each block represents one student, right? Each block represents 1 student. So the question is asking how many students scored at least 3 tickets. Now, if you scored at least 3 tickets, right, it means that you have to score 3 tickets, or you can score 4 tickets, or you can score 5 tickets, right? So the number of students, so the number of students who sold 3 tickets, right, that's 10 students, right? The number who scored 4 tickets, right, is going to be 5. And the number who sold 5 tickets, I don't know why I keep saying scored, right? This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So therefore, all I need to do, I just need to add up 10, right? That's 10 students plus 5 plus 7. So 7 and 5 is 12. So this is 2. And this is going to be 22. So the answer is 22 students, right? That's the answer there, 22 students, right? So that takes care of section 2. Nothing too hard so far. Question 37, right? The cost of 1 bag. So 1 bag, right, plus 1 book, right, plus 1 pen, right, is $45, right? 1 bag, right, plus 1 book, right, plus 2 pens is equal to $51, right? That's $51 here. Now, if you look at these 2 statements here, you're going to realize the only difference here is that you are adding 1 extra pen, right? So when I'm making this purchase here, right, the first purchase was $45 for 1 bag, 1 book, 1 pen. But in the second scenario, for $51, we paid for 1 bag, 1 book, and 2 pens. So therefore, just by looking at that statement there, we know that the price of 1 pen, right, is simply going to be 51 minus 45, right? So this here is going to be what, $6, right? This is going to be $6 here, right? That's the price of 1 pen, right? Now they told us that the cost of one bag is twice the cost of one book, right? The cost of one bag is twice the cost of one book, right? Now, I know what the cost of 2 pens are, right? Because I know the price of 1 pen. So this here is going to be $12, right? This here is $12, right? Now, the price of one bag, right, is twice the cost of one book. So if I have one book here, right, the cost of a bag is going to be 2 of this, right? Now, when I add up 2 boxes plus 1 box plus 12, I'm going to get $51, right? So here's what we need to do. We need to figure out what is one box. So the first thing I would do, I'd remove the $12 from the 51. So we're going to say 51 minus 12, right? So we're going to borrow from this. So this is 4 and this is 11. So this is going to be 9 here, and 4 take away 3 is 39, right? So therefore, what we're saying here is that 2 boxes plus 1 box, right, is actually equal to 39. Now 2 boxes plus 1 box here, that's going to be 3 boxes, is equal to 39. So therefore, 1 box, which is actually the price of 1 book, is going to be 39 over 3, right, which is going to be $13, right? So that's the price of 1 book. Now the question says, what's the price of a bag, right? What I worked out here, this is the price of 1 book. So the price of a bag is going to be 2 times that, right? So for the bag, right, all I need to do, I just need to say $13 multiplied by 2. So this is going to be 2 by 13. So the answer is going to be $26, right? So the answer is going to be $26. So that's question 37. Question 38, right? 1 bottle of liquid soap has the same capacity as 6 bottles of hand sanitizer, right? So we have liquid soap here, and has the same capacity of 6 hand sanitizers, right? Now, they're also telling us that 4 bottles of shampoo has the capacity of 12 bottles of hand sanitizers, right? And the capacity of 1 bottle of soap, right, of liquid soap is 1.5 liters, right? So this here is 1.5 liters, and that is actually equal to 6 hand sanitizers, right? Now they want you to work out what is the capacity of 1 bottle of shampoo. Now, if you look carefully here, we can simplify this calculation because 6 bottles here, right, is actually 1.5 liters. So therefore, you have another 6 here. So we have our next 1.5 liters, right? So the total capacity of those 12 hand sanitizers, when I add this up, 1.5 plus 1.5, I'm going to get 3 liters, right? So therefore, this shampoo here, those 4 bottles of shampoo has a capacity of 3 liters, right? Now they want your answer in milliliters. So 1 liter, right, is 1,000 milliliters, right? So if I have 3 liters, that's going to be 3,000 milliliters, right? Now if you want to get the volume or the capacity of 1 bottle of shampoo, which is what they're asking for, all I need to do is to take 3,000, because I know that this total capacity of all the shampoo here is 3,000 milliliters. So we're going to take 3,000 milliliters and we're just going to divide that by 4 because you have 4 bottles of shampoo. So, right, so 4 can go into this 7 times, right? 7 4s are 28, remainder 2. So we have 20 here. So 4 into 20, that's going to give me 5. So therefore, each bottle of shampoo is going to be 750 milliliters, right? Right. Question 39, we have lollipop sticks are used to form geometrical pattern as shown. Complete the table below by writing the number of lollipop sticks that will form in figure 4 and figure 9, right? So in this question here, right, if you look to see what the pattern is, so they started off with what looks like a square, and then they used 2 lollipop sticks at the top here, right, to make that peak here. Then when they got figure 2, they added 3 lollipop sticks to the right hand side. And then as we jump from figure 3 to figure 4, they added 2 more lollipop sticks here to get the top, right? And then the pattern repeats itself again. You're adding 3 more on the right hand side here, right? Now let's look and see what's happening here. When you jump from 4 to 6, you're adding 2, right? When you jump from 6 to 9, you're adding 3, right? So in the case of this scenario here, we're going to add 2. So this is going to be 11, right? That's going to be 11. Do they want all of them? Okay, so they just want you for figure 4 and figure 9, but we know that the next number in this here, we're going to add 3. So this is going to be 14. Then we're going to add 2. So this is going to be 16. Then we're going to add 3 here. Right? So this is going to be 19. Then for this one, we're going to add 2. So that's 21. And when we jump from here to here, we're going to add 3 more. So that's going to be 24. And the last one, just to double check our answer, we're going to add 2. Right? So that makes sense. So all they want here, they want to know what is figure 4. Yeah, figure 4, that's 11. And figure 9, that's 24. Right? And this part B here, that is said, describe the pattern rule. Right? So we're going to add, right, 2, right, sticks on top, right? So that's what we're doing first, right? And the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to add 3 lollipop sticks to the right, right? So that's a pattern that is repeating here, right? We added 2 on top, and then the next time we're going to add 3 on the right hand side, and that's it. That's basically what they're doing, right? And the final question, right? The final question, we have an incomplete bar graph. It shows the time in seconds taken by 5 girls to run a race, right? The average time taken for the 5 girls is 25 seconds. Calculate the time taken by Bella, right? So far in this paper, we've had, this is the third question where we had to use sum and mean, right? Okay, so we have how many girls? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 girls. And we know the mean is 25. So you're going to take 25 and multiply by 5. That's going to give you a sum of all the times. 5 5s are 25, 2 5s are 10, and 2 is 12. So that's a total of 125 seconds, right? So this here represents my sum, right? Now, if you look at Gemma, right, that's 35 seconds, plus Ariel, that's 10 seconds, right, plus Ella, that's 20, right, and then we have Laura, that's 45. So let's work out our total here. So 5 and 5 is 10, 3 and 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 110 seconds that we have accounted for. So to work out Bella's time, we're going to take 125 and you're going to minus 110, right? So that's 5 take away 0 is 5, 12 take away 11, you're going to get 1. So therefore, Bella is going up to 15, right? She's going to be this height here, right? Right? So this is Bella here. She is going to have a time of 15 seconds. And the last part, what was the time taken for the fastest runner? So if this runner is the fastest runner, we expect that person to have the lowest possible time, right? So they said, what is the time of the fastest runner? So we're looking at the lowest possible time here. So if we look at the times here, the lowest time that we have here corresponds to Ariel, and her time is 10 seconds, right? The smaller the time, the faster the race, or the faster the runner. So in this case here, we're talking about Ariel, right? And her time is going to be 10 seconds. That's the answer there, right? All right, guys. So this brings us to the end of the 2024 SCA Maths paper, right? In terms of assessment of this paper was a lot easier than the 2023 paper, right? There wasn't anything too difficult on this paper, right? So, like I said, guys, so my daughter helped out with the solutions for this paper, right? So please remember to hit like and subscribe, right? And I will see you guys at some point in time, right? Take care, everybody.